Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of TED Excellence, the show where legend and dairy collide to form legendary. And I come to you live from Crater Valley on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Thursday. Tempestuous Thursday. Yes, we return once again to the wonderful world of off-brand TED Talks for education and enlightenment. I call it something better than what's going on in the news right now. I was thinking about that earlier. I was just like, even though I couldn't have known a day or so ago what the previous 24 hours would bring in the news, and I'm not going to dwell on it because why date the stream? But for those of you that are here with me now, you know what I'm talking about. But I think it's fortunate that there's something to take mine and perhaps your mind off of current events for a little while and just lose yourself in some potentially educational or ridiculous stuff, because why not? That's my thinking. But before we get to today's topic, who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening? Let me make sure I get this before it disappears off the chat. First off, Fun Time Bats, thank you so much for the generosity. Finally catching one of these live again. I hate sleeping through these every week. Well, I'm happy to have you. I'm glad that you're here. Hope you enjoy the show. Who else is joining me here? Vader35, good evening. Miranda Stone, good evening. Twisted Skipster, good evening. Advocatus Diablo, good evening. Noah Asensio, good evening. Simon Willikins, good evening. Shell D, good evening. Derek LaRue, thank you. As soon as it comes up here. Come on, StreamYard. There you go. Thank you so much, as always, for your continued generosity and support. Really do appreciate it. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the show. Attack Alpaca, good evening. Resolute Germ, good evening. One Ton Hammer, good evening. the Luke Skywalker 2, good evening. Shady Grin, good evening. Did I already say hello to Twisted Skipster? If not, hello, Twisted. Antler the Mad, good evening. Robert Pincus, good evening. Grand Inquisitor T. Alexander, good evening. Roger Reynolds, good evening. Keldrig, good evening. Kiro Soldier, good evening. And I think that's everybody. Did I already say hello to Advocatus Diaboli? I think I did, but if I didn't, hello. Also, Jamie Milquist, good evening. Toku154, good evening. And TC LaChance. LaChance. Let's see. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, yeah. LaChance. I think of Chance. You ever see that? Probably not, because it's a million years ago now. There was a TV show on Fox a long, long time ago called Strange Luck. And the main character's name was Chance. He was a bit on the nose, but there you go. D.B. Sweeney, toe pick. It's all old 80s, 90s kids stuff. Anyway, tonight's subject, as with most of these TEDx's, it's the title that always grabs me. And I have absolutely no idea what the title's supposed to mean. I can try to guess. So let me walk you through it real quick. The real title of the presentation is Unicorns and Food Deserts Are the Same Thing? ? All right. So as often happens, my brain reverts to sort of spelling bee mode. And I take these words and these phrases and these concepts and try to break them down, try to understand them. I don't know anything else about this talk. I didn't read the description. I've got the title. That's it. So, what is a unicorn? Well, in general terms, it is a mythological creature, something that does not exist, but is an idea that people have. Okay, let's just say that for the second. What is a food desert? And not dessert, it's missing an S there, but a desert. And I pointedly did not look up this phrase because I didn't recognize it, and it might be an established phrase. But I thought to myself, okay, what is a food desert? Well, I'm assuming it's something like food insecurity, although maybe it's more geographical, like, a place where you don't have access to or difficulty finding nutritious food. So if the title is Unicorns and Food Deserts Are the Same Thing, then are speakers saying that a place where there's not food available is a mythological thing like a unicorn? except that there are actual deserts, like the Sahara or the Antarctic, where there really isn't easy access to food, and they exist. So I have no idea. That's why I'm hoping to be educated or entertained or both or something. Least distracted. A couple more hellos here. Ostzan, hello. SWD40, hello. Anybody else? Roan Harushin, good evening. And that reminds me, before I forget, at the top of the chat box, everybody, please take a look at the GoFundMe's pin there. We have fundraisers for Maddie, a fellow YouTuber who has just been recently diagnosed with cancer and is having to pay for some deductibles on the treatment thereof. Please take a look at that one. Angry Illinoisian, who was injured due to workers' issues and is on workers' comp. His family could use some help. And third on the list, this one I'd like to pay particular attention to. This is Roan Harushin. Is needing some help just to cover some basics because of some life circumstances. Only asking for $700 just to cover next month's rent or this month's rent, whichever one it is. So not a big ask there. If you can take a look at that one in particular, and if you can donate to that or any of them, please do so. If you can't donate, that's fine. But if you can share those out on social media, that really does help. So thank you so much, and best of luck to Roan, Illinoisian, and Maddie. But with all of that being said, tonight's bingo card is bingo card A as in the unicorn from Blade Runner. That was the winning suggestion or winning item, I guess, on the poll that I put out on Twitter earlier today to select today's bingo card. Links are in the description. If you'd like to join in on the bingo card poll each week, or just to follow my craziness on Twitter or X, just follow me there on scribe_light. Let's see. Shadowclaw, hello. Stoka, hello. Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. All right. With all of that as preamble, let's get into this. Now, this one is a relatively short TEDx talk, clocking in at just under 10 minutes. So tonight's broadcast might be relatively short as well. I guess we'll find out. But we also find, something else I wanted to point out. TEDx dropped a whole bunch of presentations from the same event this week, as they often do. And this one takes place at Botham Jean Boulevard. And as soon as I thought to myself, did they name a street after him? And Botham Jean is the guy who was tragically shot to death in his own apartment by a police officer, Amber Geiger, who thought that it was her apartment. This is a very famous or infamous case from several years ago. And I didn't know they named a street after him. So I'm assuming this takes place either in Dallas or in the surrounding area where that happened. Anyway, just a little trivia note of true crime and so on. I'll start off with a few seconds for a sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear it, and then we will proceed with Dr. Latame Phillips. Unicorn and food deserts are the same thing? ?
Growing up, I had a very vivid imagination.
Growing up, I had a very vivid imagination. This is almost a childhood or family anecdote. We'll wait and see if he gets more specific. You guys hear that all right? Let me know. Sounds good on my end, says Roan Harushin. Sounds good, says Ex-Bubba Hotep. Ex-Bubba Hotep, good evening. And sounds good, says Derek LaRue. Okay, well, 3 votes makes it so.
The main reason for this is because I felt alone all the time.
You felt alone all the time. I can empathize. I was a relatively isolated, lonely kid when I was a kid, and my imagination ran all over the place to compensate.
And although I have 5 other brothers and sisters,
so you weren't alone all the time.
I'm the middle child.
So
I was always too young to be with my older siblings, or too old to hang out with my younger sisters.
Okay, well, that's a childhood or family anecdote, so circling that one on the board as soon as the paint program here will let me. Come on now, I did this before the show because I'm prepared like that. There we go. Okay, now I can make a circle. Yay, circles. Childhood or family anecdote, and circling free space as well, because free is a good price.
So that led me to create a fantasy world that feels very, very real to me. Still do it now to this day, and sometimes I think I'm 7 feet tall. I'm about to hit a shot in Game 7 in the NBA, but as I grew older, my imagination dissipated.
Your imagination dissipated? Oh, okay. That sounds kind of sad.
And my critical thinking skills kind of took over.
You know, you can be both imaginative and think critically. I know I do.
I soon began to question almost everything that I was taught or read or was told. My thirst for information was unquenchable, especially as I uncovered history that was not mainstream information.
Is this gonna deal with slavery? I know maybe I'm setting myself up for failure. I'm not trying to be psychic again. I think that was a one-time deal, but is this going to be about slavery?
When I left corporate America, I started a career in philanthropy. And there were questions that I needed to have answers to.
When I left corporate America, didn't we just have a speaker say those very same words not that long ago? Like, oh yeah, it was the last TEDx. The lady who was asking for prayer, spirituality, religion in the workplace when she left corporate America. How do I find these things?
Unicorns were always very fascinating to me.
Okay.
When I would read books or watch movies, it was cool to see how the author would change the creature based upon what he needed them to do.
Okay. Yes. Well, that goes for any character in any story. But okay.
Now, I only know this. Don't judge me. I do have little sisters. One of them's here now. So I used to watch My Little Pony a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't blame you for that, I suppose. I'm sure that some of my audience watch My Little Pony a lot. Jaeger Pony, are you there?
There was a popular cartoon that came out in 1986.
And has had various releases since then. And I only know that because I've, been alive for a while.
There were 5 different unicorns. And when they united, they realized they had 5 distinct powers. And the discovery helped them bring harmony throughout the universe.
I was not expecting a My Little Pony lore dump on this TEDx.
In other books, there were a Pegasus unicorn.
Yes. The unicorns have appeared in various forms because they're mythological creatures.
These unicorns were powerful, and some of them could fly.
Well, I mean, a Pegasus and a unicorn are two different things. A unicorn with wings, I don't know if is that technically a Pegasus, or is that its own thing? That part I don't know. If a Pegasus has a horn, it's no longer a Pegasus, right? It's a unicorn, or it's a Unisus, or a Pegacorn. Pegacorn.
And some of them couldn't. Now, in children's stories and cartoons, you'd also see unicorns associated with magical princesses.
Yeah.
And these unicorns were used to open up portals to different parts of the world.
Yes, mythological creatures, no set rules.
I got into Marvel comic books and other action type stuff and found my favorite unicorn.
Favorite Marvel Comics oh my god, am I just blanking here? Is there a famous unicorn in Marvel Comics? Black Knight's horse wasn't a unicorn, but it could fly, if I remember correctly, right? What?
It was the war unicorn.
What?
These unicorns were huge.
What?
They were black in color.
What?
Enormous muscles coming all out of them. And if they were on your side, you were guaranteed to win the battle.
Okay. Admittedly, I have not read every Marvel comic series on the planet. War unicorns. Was that a Thor thing? Or maybe an Excalibur thing? Kildrig, thank you so much. Fact I randomly know, but is suddenly relevant. Unicorns with wings are called alicorns. Oh, well, there you go. You learn something new every day. I should have the more you know thing as a stinger on here. I don't. I wish I did. But thank you, Keldrig. Although I got to say, I like Pegacorn. I think Pegacorn's kind of funny. And Johnny Bonsacco, good evening. Zed the Snarky, good evening. Okay, where are we going, dude? Where are we going?
But just like I said, you got to remember, unicorns can change anytime the author wants them to.
Yes. They're not set in stone because they're mythological. Okay, is that the point we're getting to here?
So when I went into the nonprofit sector,
okay,
I started out to fight food insecurity.
Hey, well, food insecurity. I mentioned that earlier. That's my first psychic pip for the episode.
In doing so, my focus was on something called food deserts.
Okay.
Now, a food desert is something that has an area that has limited access to affordable food and nutritious resources.
Hey, what do you know? I wasn't that far off. Context clues, vocabulary. It's wonderful. I'm not going to call that a psychic event. Just call it a, common sense event. Okay.
People living in food deserts may often be economically insecure or have the unfortunate circumstance of having to travel a great distance to have healthy food options.
Okay, economic disparity, circling that one on the board. And as we go, guys, if you have arguments for squares to be circled, just hold on to them because we will get to a group chat on the subject by the end of the show.
A food desert is contrasted with something called a food oasis.
Okay.
Now, deserts are a natural phenomenon. They play a very crucial part in the world's ecosystem and have several important purposes.
Okay, I'm just trying to think for a second here. Where is this going? Okay, unicorns. The rules that govern unicorns are not set in stone. Right? Okay. And now food deserts, areas and or circumstances that prevent someone from attaining food. Okay.
Now, one of them is climate regulation. So Dallas is not a desert, even though it feels like it, but deserts influence weather patterns and they try to help out with circulation and rainfall in other regions.
Okay, wait. So you're talking both figurative and literal deserts? Am I? Because a second ago it was about economic. I'm getting real close to hitting a WTF here.
So they contribute by maintaining their Earth's overall ecosystem.
Yeah.
Another thing that deserts do is they contribute to renewable energy.
They do? Just on their own?
So deserts are an excellent source for locations for harnessing solar energy.
It depends on the okay.
As well as wind energy.
Yeah, well, except, solar energy, those solar panels are difficult to maintain and expensive as well. Wind energy, I suppose. I'm going to back up a little bit. I cut them off, but okay. I thought we were talking about food. What?
Solar energy, as well as wind energy, and they also contribute or are the contributing factor to the transition with this world with renewable energy sources.
What?
Now, deserts may seem harsh and unhospitable. However, they're an integral part to our overall ecosystem.
Okay, I'm trying really hard here, guys. We're almost halfway through this thing,
and have ecological and human significance.
Yeah.
So that made me to use my imagination. I thought you
didn't have an imagination anymore because it faded away and you're filled with critical thinking skills. Okay.
Use my imagination. I thought, maybe food deserts are also important to humans' existence as well.
Okay. All right. Wait. Okay. Okay. So let's break it down. Unicorns. Mythological creatures from literature, folklore, and legend. No hard and fast rules for what they do or can do or how they operate. Writers can use them and do use them in different ways depending on what they need them to do. Deserts, actual deserts, are part of the climatological ecosystem and have a purpose in nature. And so now food deserts, which refer to a concept of a circumstance or an area where food is hard to come by, are like actual deserts. Okay.
However, one thing that has to be noted is that deserts don't have the ability to transform into lush tropical areas.
I press X to doubt. I press X to doubt. Am I mistaken, or can deserts go into decline? Am I wrong on that? If somebody in the chat can tell me, am I wrong in thinking that it is possible for a desert to go into decline and become fertile again? I don't know what's going on right now. Thank you, Alan Thyler, for the Kung Fu Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wow. Wow.
No, that's a Sinatra Dogcat Fox. Thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the show such as it is. Okay. My finger is hovering over WTF because we're about halfway through this talk and I have no idea where we're going.
So then I realized something that my imagination kept showing me. So the more I studied, it was apparent that unicorns and food deserts, they're the same thing.
Unicorns and food. Okay, well, this is title of the talk. It's time to define your terms. Tell us what the heck we're doing here. My brain is going to mush. I'm going to run away. Tell us all now, what's the title of the talk?
Both are imaginary.
So wait, an area. Okay, this is how I started out the show. The area or an area where food is difficult or impossible to come by doesn't actually exist. Yes, Daniel Fullman in the chat. Da Vinci Notebook. Yes, you got it. You got it. Okay, here's the big. Okay, here it comes, guys. This is where he has to prove what he's talking about. Because an actual desert is a food desert. If you're locked in an office building and the only sources of food are some vending machines with junk food in there, that would technically count as a food desert because there's not nutritional food. So food deserts don't actually exist. You built up all the stuff about unicorn. Okay, all right. Here we go. This better be good.
They actually don't really exist.
Yeah.
See, areas that are considered food insecure can change just like unicorns.
You just told us that deserts can't become oases. You compared actual deserts to food deserts, and you said actual deserts can't become oases. Now you're saying that I just hold on a second here. I got to do something. I got to do something because I didn't create this just for this occasion. You know, I was going to use it whenever, but I figure might as well premiere it now if it'll load. Come on, StreamYard, you can do it. All right, you guys ready? Here we go.
What? You gotta be fucking kidding.
Right?
A brand new WTF stinger. Just for the heck of it. I figured I should have at least 3 of those. Just having 2 seems a bit sparse. Okay, so circling the whole card for the WTF moment, and also circling contradicts own point or argument. Unless he says something very, very profound in the next beat or 3, I'm leaving it there. I am willing to take it back if he somehow brings it back around. But
so in places like this city and other places throughout the world, certain areas have transferred multiple times. They've gone from lush areas to deserts back to food oases.
So deserts can become... Yeah. Okay. I'm leaving contradicts own pointer argument on there.
Las Vegas, Nevada,
Uh-huh.
Cairo, Egypt are both heavily populated cities that have thrived despite being constructed.
Wait. Cairo, Egypt. Cairo. Cairo? Cairo sounds like the name of a radio station that plays like oldies rock. You're listening to Cairo, raw rock all the time. Cairo, okay. Or maybe like Cairo syrup, or is that Cairo, like the stuff they used in for fake blood in movies and stuff? Isn't that what that's called? I don't know anything.
Are both heavily populated cities that have thrived despite being constructed in the middle of a desert. So while they've grown because of the resources that have been funneled in, they still remain areas that are in dry climate areas.
But we're not talking about climate. You talked about economic hardship at the top of this to describe a factor that goes into a food desert. Now you're talking about actual deserts. So a place with the word desert attached to it that cannot support its own food is not a real thing, because unicorns can be anything the author wants them to be. What?
Now, food deserts are make-believe because when the powers that be want those areas to thrive, city planners get together, they hire developers, and soon, magically, the area is revitalized.
It's not magic. And it doesn't just happen like... So, a food desert exists until people choose for it not to exist by putting work and resources into not having it be a food desert anymore. But food deserts are like unicorns in that they don't exist. But they also cede to the whim of the writer for whatever purpose they are needed for. What? I don't know. Why?
But the people that live in those areas, they call it gentrification.
Gentrification? Wait, what? wait. So Las Vegas, which was just a square of desert dirt, when Bugsy Siegel came in and built the Flamingo, he was gentrifying. I don't, maybe he was. I mean, you know, all the lizards were being driven out, all the Gila monsters and tumbleweeds, and suddenly there were people everywhere. What? What is going on? Oh, Lord.
So suddenly, grocery stores decide that the same people that were there before now need the new population, now need fruits and vegetables that the former desert didn't necessarily need or deserve.
Okay. Word salad. Circling word salad. Holy cats. Didn't need... Wait. the former residents didn't need or deserve fruits and vegetables? What?
What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Right?
Just...
So what I've discovered is the authors in human civilization use their imagination in both fiction and nonfiction to make readers feel great or horrible.
What is going on here? Is this performance art? Is this a plant? Did AI write this TEDx talk?
So let's talk about language.
What? But sure. Why not? After this, can we get the kitchen sink in too? We might as well.
Language is often cultivated to lessen the blow of horrific practices.
Okay.
Now, as I've gotten older, I've learned how to see through plots of scripted hypnotism.
Scripted hypnotism? Scripted hypnotism. Oh, Lord.
So now it's time to get into a mode where we're calling things what they are.
Okay.
It's not a food desert.
Okay.
It's food apartheid.
But oh, okay. Okay. I did not have this literally or figuratively on my bingo card for this week. All right, so we got unicorns, food deserts, food oases, Las Vegas, solar power, wind power, vegetables that are not of deserving to people, food apartheid. What? I don't even know. I don't even know. But okay, I'm going to circle privilege because you really can't have apartheid without one side or the other having privileges the other side doesn't. There's 3 minutes left. Are we going to end up on? Please tell me we end up on the moon.
So apartheid is a systematic system.
Yes. Okay. I'm circling systemic institutional. It's a systematic system, guys. You know, a procedural process. What? What?
That segregates or discriminates.
Wait. That what? That what again? Sorry, say that again. Try that again.
That segregates or discriminates.
Segregates.
Against people based upon their race.
Okay.
So we love to point this huge finger at South Africa and other countries, right?
Yeah.
And we condemn them for a practice that South Africa didn't get rid of until 1994.
Okay. At least by implication, I'm circling white supremacy. What? I don't even know anymore.
But the truth is,
okay, I'm ready for some truth.
However,
in
this city,
in Dallas,
and throughout places in this country,
and in America,
fresh produce for some reason, some strange reason, can't make it in some cases 3 more miles down the road.
Fresh produce can't make it for some reason. Do you want to give us a reason?
So, scripted language, we call these areas underserved.
What the do we? Okay.
But are they really?
I don't know. You just told us that fresh produce can't make it 3 miles down the road. And you told us that food deserts are like unicorns. But the deserts can't become oases again. But then they could. And then solar power with the apartheid and the language and the war unicorn, Marvel Comics, My Little Pony. What? So
the supply chains that dictate where things go, they just simply reroute them to affluent areas and choose not to serve them.
Who's they? Are they the unicorns? Am I the unicorn?
So is it a racial thing?
I
don't know.
I don't know. You don't know. What am I doing here? What did I do? What have I done? Oh, Lord.
But I will say that the top 10 of food apartheid areas in this city, strangely, are all Black and Hispanic. If you take a snapshot of the state, I was surprised, but it's the same thing.
What's the same thing? The unicorns or the apartheid?
Pull it back a little bit more and you look at the nation, and guess what?
Marvel Comics put out an issue of My Little Pony.
It's a nationwide trend.
What is?
So we got to stop treating issues, real issues, like
issues,
fictitious fairy tales.
What? But you told us that food deserts and unicorns are the same thing. So they are fairy tales. But they're not fairy tales? Oh, God. Why?
Because we can't continue to put window dressing on systemic racist practices in order to hide inexcusable processes.
But
What is that? What the fuck is that?
I am flabbergasted. You know, I don't want to aim too high here, but this may be, and mark this on the calendar, this may be the most nonsensical TEDx we've ever watched. I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying that. And I'm happy to be given an example otherwise that I'm just not remembering right now because I've had an effective, sonic lobotomy watching this thing. But all the same, I think this might be the most detached, nonsensical TEDx we've ever watched.
Now, how can we live in a time where you go to a website, you ask it a question, and in seconds it spits out an entire essay?
I'm wondering if that's not what has happened here.
Why is it possible to put electronic goggles in and disappear into a world for hours of virtual reality? Now, in fact,
what?
Have you ever looked up something on Google?
Oh, yeah, once or twice.
And then you go to your social media feed, and the thing that you were looking for is all throughout your feed?
Oh, you mean there's an algorithm and it's all connected?
Now,
sorry, I actually didn't mean to stop there. My thumb twitched. I think I might be getting a neurological disorder watching this thing. Let's try that again.
Now, I've been to restaurants before. You order your food,
yeah,
and a robot shows up.
What?
And delivers your food to you, right?
No, I've actually never been served by a robot. Where are you going for your food?
So this is confusing to me.
This is confusing to you. This is confusing to you. I don't even know what planet I'm on anymore. Oh, dog, cat, fox, where am I? Wowie, wow, wow. Okay, I'm still on the moon. Right? I'm on the moon. Wow. Okay. I'm all right. I'm gonna get there. Oh, Pepper Jack, save me. Oh, good Lord.
Why isn't it possible to get fresh fruits and vegetables just a few more miles down the road?
What are you talking about?
So let's be honest.
Could you be coherent?
And if we're talking about overall change and resiliency.
Are
right?
are we talking about that? What are Kiever Dam? Thank you so much for the happy, smiley, dancy dog cat fox. Oh, dog cat fox.
Wowie fucking wow wow.
Oh, it's a Satsu dog cat fox. Thank you, Kiever Dam. Oh, let me get that out. Did it not show up? I clicked on it. I thought it showed up on the screen. My apologies. I don't know what's going on anymore. There's 24 seconds left in this.
We got to call things what they are, right?
Sure. Call things what they are. What is this?
Food apartheid is an intentional racist practice.
Okay, I'm going to circle attempt to coin new buzzword buzz phrase because food apartheid. Hadn't heard that one before. I don't know if it actually exists, but I'm going to give it to him just because I'm nice like that.
And so my imagination lets me know that I'm actually correct in reality. Because food deserts and unicorns, they're the same thing.
What? My imagination tells me that I'm correct. Okay. 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 All right. Calm down. Calm down. Just a smidge. Just a moat. Just a slight little moat. Calm down. Okay. So, getting away from that as quickly as... Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm looking at... imagine being hypnotized. Okay. I'm going to go over the card one more time by myself. And then if there are any arguments for squares to be circled, we'll go from there. Collectivize his own demographic. Yes. Certainly did. Certainly did. Okay. Sales pitch for product or service. I don't know. Robot waiters. I'm not sure. Diversity, equity, or inclusion. It's a bingo square. Excuse me. So he didn't actually say the phrase, so I'm going to need a really good argument. Plays victim? Was he ever playing the victim? I mean, aside from having to watch My Little Pony as a kid, I don't think so. Microaggressions, unconscious bias. Maybe? I don't know. Patriarchy? No. Weightless example. Everything? Everything. Feminism, no. Marginalization, yes, at least by aggregate concept, if not the actual words. A list. Did he give us a formal list? I mean, he listed off things, but I don't think so. Self-vilification or wretchedness, no. Argumentative non sequitur. How can I count the ways? Good golly. All right. Mind reading assumes motives. Yeah, because the people revitalizing an area are evil or selfish or something. I don't even know. Benevolent condescension. I feel like I had a moment that felt like it was benevolent condescension, but I can't remember it right now. Anecdote that probably he never gave us the only anecdotes he gave were about his childhood, and I can believe that he watched My Little Pony with his sisters, and I can believe he was the middle child, and I don't know. Leaves out vital context. Boy, howdy. Like, what are we here for? What was the point of this? What were you trying to say? Okay, anyway, that's the way that I have the card. I'm open for arguments, and boy, oh boy, I mean, my brain is open because I think it was just cracked in half with a crowbar of what the hell. Anyway, thank you, Stoka, or Brett. I lost the last of my IQ listening to him. Thank you for that, Scribe. You're welcome. Now we can all proceed through the rest of life as functional lobotomites. Yay. Gen T Maxi, hello. You should have a special square for vacuum of space in your brain. I mean, that's technically the whole card for WTF, technically. Alyssa Holcomb, hello. All right. Any arguments for squares to be circled? I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Let's see. Caldrig, does this qualify as a traumatic incident? Can I claim PTSD now? I think it's PTTD, post-traumatic TED disorder or TEDx disorder. That could work. That could work. Roger Reynolds. So your reality is warped beyond recognition. Got it. You can't be trusted. I'll tell you what. Like I say, after the news cycle of the last couple of days, in a way, I kind of needed this. Abdicast Diabli, Scribelite. Is there a bingo square for when someone who escaped an asylum gives a talk? Either this was written by ChatGPT, or I'm trying to give the best spin on this. ChatGPT, or created specifically as performance art to satirize TEDx's in general. I'll tell you what, I would be so happy and or impressed if I found out this entire thing was a put on. But I'm just not sure. I have to take it at face value. So TC Lachance, wow, I lost more brain cells than when I took goodness studies. I'm not sure I even want to know what goodness studies are. Let's see. Scribelite, have you really never heard of a food desert before this? I find that super hard to believe, all things good. I may have heard the term, but when I saw the title, I had no immediate recognition. Like I've heard food insecurity a lot. I've heard that phrase quite a bit in recent years. Food desert? Can't say. I can't say. So, it's not something I come across very often. Let's put it that way. Zed the Snarky, arguing against benevolent condescension. You have to be coherent to be condescending. All right. Well, somebody has to give a really good argument now. Let's see. Is there a limit to how uncohesive our arguments can be? TC Lachance? No. Incoherence knows no bounds. Just like Dracula Unbound. Or was that Frankenstein Unbound? No, it was Dracula Untold and Frankenstein Unbound. Frankenstein Unbound is a bizarre movie. That is a bizarre movie. Time traveling and yeah, anyway. Funtime Bats, benevolent condescension. Have you ever Googled anything? Oh. Well, I mean, to be fair, he was saying, have you ever Googled anything and then gone to your social media? It was the lead-in to something. I goofed on it, but it was one part of a total question. So I don't think that was condescension. I think that's just part of it was a bizarre question to put in there compared to everything else, but I don't know. Kurosil, a short stream night. Yeah, well, it was a short talk. Less than 10 minutes and just absolute gobbledygook. Let's see. PTTD makes you eligible for a tax refund of $500 Canadian. Yes, Gen T Maxi, as a native Canadian, you can affirm that, right? I hope so. Let's see. Speaking of Gen T Maxi, no, not that I've heard of it being because of racism is what makes it. Or maybe I've missed something. Okay. Avocat is Scribelite. No, this is pretty typical food desert stuff. It almost always gets crazy like it. Does it? Okay. If I need a pick-me-up or a brain cleanse in the future, I'll look up food desert panel discussion or something. Thank you, A2P. Dina, stop. Inside joke. Please don't call me weird. You bought my silence. There you go. Pissed off Shih Tzu. Seriously, did TEDx run out of people and they started putting people who are intellectually challenged? I don't know what this was. I really want to think that this was some kind of joke, some kind of put on. I really hope so. Genty Maxi, like if the dude was like New York has a food desert due to lack of grocery stores specific places. Sure, that's because of New York though. Okay, like I say, I can only operate with what was in the actual presentation, and he never gave us an example. He just said, "Why can't fruit and vegetables make it 3 miles down the road?" Like, I don't know. Is it not? What 3 miles? What are you talking about? Now, see, with your one comment, Jen, you set up a scenario or an example, hypothetical or otherwise, that I could actually latch onto. Like, oh, okay, sure. If you don't have any sources of food for many miles around, and you're not living in a place where you can easily grow your own food, conceivably, then, okay, I can understand that concept. Why didn't he ever bring that up? I don't know. Ex-Bubba Hotep, food deserts come up a lot during the summer of love because businesses moved out of the rioting areas. Oh, that would have been an interesting talk. That would have been an interesting talk. Ex-Bubba Hotep, you need to find yourself a TEDx event. Thank you, Ostsan. I think we just witnessed the origin story of the new Batman villain, the Scribbler. Yeah, send me off to Arkham right now. You might as well. After that one, holy cats. All right, any other arguments for squares not yet circled, guys? We're right on the edge of a bingo or two, depending. I'm not just going to give it away for free, but we could get one out of this. Let's see, Advocatus. Yes, typically food deserts are urban areas and also tend to be high in crime where stores will not venture. Well, see, now, that would have made some sense, except that he said at the end that food deserts are like unicorns. They don't exist. Except they do exist until they don't exist anymore. But then if they do exist, then it's gentrification. But I think it would have lost all the way around. All the way around. Something about... Okay, I don't know what's going on in the chat now. Oh, and also, hello, Payar D. Bayar. And Shadowclaw, I didn't already say hello. Hello. Okay. Any other arguments for squares to be circled? I can understand if they're not. I mean, this was just 3 WTFs and a cackle or two, which is, but like I say, I do believe this might be the most nonsensical TEDx we've ever watched, which is saying something. Let's be honest. I mean, we just went through erotic dance in order to move forward on the 7th anniversary show, and that one was up there. Yvonne Solomon, wish I could help, but I came in just as scribe.exe stopped working. Well, yeah, well. Oh, hold on. Grand Inquisitor, benevolent condescension, gentrification. I'll give it to you. I'm not even sure it fits, but I was just thinking of Chasing Amy for some reason. And as compared to that, yeah, that was benevolent condescension. Fun Time Bats, worse than Chromosome Lady? I mean, that was the talk that really bore out the need for a WTF. Yeah, it was worse than Chromosome Lady, because at least Chromosome Lady had some, well, duh moments, because she said things that were demonstrably true as though they were something significant. In this instance, I'm not even sure that we were told anything of value at all. So, yeah. Advocatus again. This made the erotic dance one seem like a well put together presentation. Really. I've said it before. Every time I watch one of these things, in the forefront of my mind, I have the structure of a, persuasive essay, and I'm waiting for those beats to be hit over the course of the show. I couldn't even find one foothold. I could find no purchase on which to climb to a point on this one. And JB, Scribe, ever heard of Soft White Underbelly? Just curious. Is that a band? I don't know. Maybe. Sounds vaguely familiar. Tier Alexander. No, NF Trees was the weirdest. No, NF Trees was pretty weird, but it was at least coherent. It didn't make any sense as a sales pitch or anything else, but at least it had structure and I could understand what was being said. One point to the next, but this one, no. Okay, well, or the Blackout Talk. No, even Blackout Talks, you know, they hit a bunch of points. They might hit a bunch of points. Doesn't mean they're necessarily incoherent. It just ends up, you know, hitting that switch on the bingo card. Anyway, everybody, I think I'm going to call it here. I know it's a short stream, but it was a short show. And I think I had more than enough for this one. We didn't hit any bingos, but, you know, in reality, we all kind of lost today. So I think that's fine. Anyway, since I've got a couple extra minutes, let's talk about, if I can, the Discord server. Yes, I have a Discord server. If you're not a member of the Discord server, you can easily become a member of the Discord server by clicking on the link in the chat box right now and finding yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you have to say the secret word. The secret word tells me and my moderators that you actually watch the show and have thus earned the right to become a member of the Discord server. And today's secret word is alicorn. Yes, alicorn, the winged unicorn. Alicorn. And you can join the Discord server there. Additionally, Sunday, as usual at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. There will be the Sunday stream where I'll talk about a thing. I haven't decided what it'll be yet, but we'll see. Also, Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, is reading time with Scribe and Leonora, part 2, where we're reading Leonora's chosen reading assignment. Let me make sure I got the title correct. There's a link to it in the books thread on... I thought I put it on the books. No, it's on the announcements thread, pardon me. The announcements thread in the Discord server. It's called The Trail of Your Blood in the Snow. It's a short story about, like, I think 20 or 30 pages or something. So if you read that one ahead of time, you can read along and discuss it with Leonora and I on Sunday. Also, Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, I am scheduled to appear once again on the Midnight's Edge After Dark channel, where we're doing our new series, or they're doing the new series, of which I'm just a humble guest. The hit list or the shit list, where we go over our top 5 things. I don't know that we've decided what our top 5s are this week. It's either going to be like ghost stories or haunted house movies or something. It'll be fun. Either way, everyone, thank you for joining me for this absolute insanity. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like on the way out if you would. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved, even in the midst of such bedlam. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, either to myself or to the GoFundMe pinned to the top of the chat box. And please, if you would, take a look specifically at the one for Roan Harushan. He's just looking for $700 to cover his rent. Not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. Every bit helps. If you can help, please do so. If you can share it out on social media, please do so as well. And with that, everybody, thank you again for joining me. Hope you're all having a good Thursday. Hope you have a good Friday ahead of you and a good weekend as well. I hope you're all safe and well, especially in light of current events. And if you're not well, please get well soon. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.